why we are not starting.
Yes.
But now I can see what you are doing.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, this is this one. So that's important only for people who are wanting to see us in YouTube.
mhm,
So
yeah.
that's now I could understand it. Yes. So
Okay. So the AGM is just finished, so we can for everyone to come in. Just okay. Uh-huh. Oh, Sandra is asking for the link.
okay, AGM has just finished. Then I should say I'll stop to share this slide. It's not needed anymore, I think.
Judith, can you hear me? Well, I guess not.
So I'm stopping to share, and
Well,
yes. So we already have, and I'm going to say that Sandra Sandra was here. Where is she? I have to give here the permissions. Where is she? The secretariat also. See. So people are greeting. Oh, okay. So Sandra is make co-host. Okay. So, and I'm looking for Ines too, and here she is.
Sandra is already in the room.
Yes. So Sandra is here. Ines also. I think that we are completed here, and the other ones are as attendees there. So, give me 1 second to start the recording.
Hello, Sandra. We'll start in a minute the recording. The Mike.
I'm sorry for being late. We had to finish the annual general meeting, so please accept my apologies.
Okay, so we're live now. So I suppose we can start. Are you ready, Sandra? Carla as well? So,
Yes.
okay, thank you. So we'll start. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on the place and time where you actually following us. Welcome to Lisbon. Well, actually, you were expecting something more of this sort. Let me just share. Okay. Well, it's not exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get something more like this, which is my home office. Anyway, we're in Lisbon, and welcome to all of you. The research workshop, the 11th research workshop from Eden has returned to Lisbon. Actually, it's the first time that research workshop is held in Lisbon, but it's the second time that Eden organizes a conference in Lisbon, and this is the fourth time that Eden organizes a conference or well, any kind of event in Portugal. It's a pleasure from us to welcome you all. I'm Antonio Teixeira. I'm a senior fellow and the former president of Eden, and also a professor from the Open University of Portugal. We're really happy to welcome all of you to Lisbon and to Portugal for this research workshop. As you know, this has been a very complex times that we're experiencing, and this is also an historical event. When we actually started designing the event, we were actually thinking of it as a physical experience, but we had to change it dramatically, as you can imagine. But that hasn't changed the essence, and that hasn't changed the dynamics, and that is going not to change the quality of the experience that we'll be having in these 3 days. The topic of the event is enhancing the human experience of learning with technology, new challenges for research into digital, open distance, and network education. It's quite remarkable how this title that was actually selected before the pandemic is so significant at this present day. It's the human experience of learning that technology enhances that we are celebrating here today. But more than that, we're also celebrating a transformation, not only of higher education in general and education, the education sector in general, but also for our field as well. And the research field is being widening in terms of its scope and also its community as a result of this transformation that has been led by the response to the pandemic. Well, so this is a fortunate opportunity for us all to experience this historical time and also to experience and to enjoy this historical conference. As this is a kind of ceremony that is also a mixture of a cocktail, we don't have a cocktail to share here, but I would like to invite you all to have, well, to share a glass of wine or a refreshment and stay with us for the next hour and enjoy the different activities that we've planned for this ceremony. And we'll start by the welcoming, the formal welcoming. And it's my pleasure to give the floor to my dear colleague, Professor Carla Oliveira, who is actually the rector of the Open University of Portugal, and so she is the official host for today. Carla, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. I would like to start by addressing all the participants and to wish you all a warm welcome. And thank you for attending this international meeting that brings together renowned experts and researchers in the field of digital and network education. A special greeting to Professor Sandra, current president of Eden. And as you all know, Eden has put all his efforts in the enlargement and reinforcement of collaborative networks and ties between public and private education entities, with the purpose of promoting research in matters related to education and teaching, especially in distance learning and technologies, as well as national and international dissemination of the sector. In pursuing this mission, the contribution of universities, research centers, and all relevant national and international institutions that are part of Eden cannot be left out. I would also like to greet and congratulate Professor Lina Morgado, current director of the Distance Education and E-Learning Laboratory, as well as my colleague Antonio Teixeira, who is the co-chair of this research workshop. This international event with the Eden brand proposes to open global spaces for dialogue to reflect, analyze, and share knowledge and experiences about the challenges of digital, open, and networked education. Moreover, the notoriety and excellence of the speakers are noteworthy. It is inevitable to mention the pandemic COVID-19 and all the constraints that has introduced in our daily life and activities. And this is why this event takes place exclusively online. But it's also gratifying to see that there's been an increase in national and international participation compared to previous editions. It does show that we are very adapted to this new means of interaction, even if we are looking forward to meet all the colleagues on a face-to-face environment and be able to share, in the case of Lisbon, a glass of wine and pastel de nata, as most of you know and have already tried. The challenges of these present times and the digitalization of society impels us to reinvent the way we live, the way we learn, and the way we teach. Research in the field of digital and network education is of paramount importance, and in the current educational context, this theme chosen for the workshop is particularly relevant in the perspective of differentiation strategies in view of the use of intensive use of digital technologies. This pandemic motivated academic institutions and schools to go online. Teachers as well as students are exposed to new platforms and new ways of communicating and learning. There are, however, a number of challenges from the perspectives of learners and also from the academics that moved from offline to online modes of learning. And these challenges are, for example, being able to engage students and indulging them in teaching learning progression, developing contents that not only cover the curriculum, but also engages the learners in the learning activities. And there are also a number of technological issues like downloading issues, installing apps, low internet speed, issues relating to login IDs, identities, with video and so on. At Universidade Aberta, here we have been involved mainly or particularly with the high school teachers in delivering short courses, allowing them to get more familiar with not only with the technology, but mainly with the use of technology for educational purposes. And I'm sure that all these lectures and the program for these next few days and the dialogues that will be established will contribute to broaden horizons, to discuss new issues, but above all, to work towards the development of technological tools and pedagogical practices suitable for 21st century education. In different circumstances, I would also be welcoming you to the city of Lisbon, but I do hope that in the near future, we are all able to visit both Lisbon and Universidade Aberta. It will be a great pleasure for me and for all my colleagues to be able to receive you here at Universidade Aberta. And to make a long speech short, I will finish wishing you all a productive and successful event and thanking you for all your presence and participation in this event. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Carla. And now I'll give the floor to Sandra. Sandra, this is also the 20th anniversary of the research workshop. So this is a double anniversary because Eden will be completing 30 years next year as well, right? Sandra,
yes. Thank you, Antonio. Dear Professor Oliveira, Rector of Universitate Aberta, dear Antonio, my dear colleague and former Eden President, dear attendees, dear colleagues, dear members, I'm very happy that today we are announcing the opening of Eden Research Workshop. Especially as we are celebrating 20 years, we have done it in a special way. So why should we have physical meeting when we can do something different and do it online? Definitely, maybe bonding jointly work afterwards, the workshop will be missing in this occasion, but definitely the opportunity to connect jointly online and enable maybe larger number of participants in that way will be the added value of this workshop. I must agree with all what has been said by Antonio and Madame Rector, and just not to repeat myself in all this statement, I would just say that definitely the challenging times this year have been different and brought all of us to think differently based on the pandemic and crisis it has caused. We are witnessing that things that we have been working on for a number of years, 10, 20 years, and we have been endorsing and researching and teaching as the good and natural continuation of education, like open, online, flexible education, has suddenly become reality. Definitely, what have been taught and planned and discussed for a number of years, actually this pandemic has made it happen on a large scale. Definitely our society and education hasn't experienced such high disruption in a way of life and a way of education. And we have to take this opportunity to learn from the situation, to gain new insight, and based on research, to take new steps. How should education in 21st century look like, and what are the necessary steps to take in order to achieve high quality, accessible education to everyone. Research has become really important more than ever now in this time. As nicely Antonio put in the morning while doing the PhD symposium, that the researchers now are witnessing the changes while they are researching. And this is, I would say, unique situation definitely in the history. So I'm certain that this research workshop will be unique in many ways, because it will already provide insight into the changes which have been happening this year, but also would give recommendations and guidelines to further steps taking into how to organize education, what we need, and what steps in all the levels should be taken in order to organize such education. So not to be long, I would like to thank our host, Universitate Alberta, and especially Distance Learning Center, for hosting this event, for working hard with all heart and so hard to make this really special event on high quality level. Also, a big thank to Conference Program Committee, to the keynotes, to EdenUp members and fellows, to the authors presenting at this research workshop, to the participants, to chair, moderators, and presenters. And also I would like to thank to the Secretariat for providing all the necessary support in organization of this event. Let me just say that we have also additional support from Portugal Foundation for Science and Technology, who provided us with the Zoom environment, publication partner Eurodl and RND and ETHE, conference sponsor The Clothes, and international partner Contact North. I hope, Antonio, that I have pronounced all these things quite well. So I would say, let's work for next 3 days. Let's enjoy with the information we can get in collaborating, networking, and making this research workshop really something to be remembered. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. Eden's motto in the last couple of months has been online together, and online together we stand, as if we were in Lisbon. Lisbon is also a city of connections, of crossroads, of networks, and also of celebrating our references and our heroes. The community, the Eden community, also has its heroes, and now it's the time to celebrate them. So I'll give the floor now to Sandra once again for the second part of the session today, which is actually the presentation of the new, the colleagues that have been awarded with the Eden Fellowship and the Eden Senior Fellowship, which, as you know, it's the highest acknowledgement that the Eden community bestows to its most reputed members. Sandra?
Thank you, Antonio. I'm really honored that I can take the part of moderating this topic because I'm really happy that we honor our really esteemed colleagues with our awards. So let me start. When we are talking about Eden Senior Fellows, the introduction of Eden Fellow Award System of Professional Acknowledgement was initiated by Professor Alan Tate, here today with us, and it took first place in annual conference in Naples in 2007. In the last 12 years, nearly 100 fellow and senior fellow awards have been handed over. This 2020 research workshop is offering again a nice occasion to present the Eden Senior Fellow Awards in recognition of contribution to the development of open distance and e-learning in Europe and for valued commitment and support to evolution and progress of Eden. And let me, oh my God, and my tears are starting to go. And let me present the first award, a person who we award, and this is Professor Irina Volungeviciene from Vitatus Magnus University, Kaunas in Lithuania, my dear colleague and friend and former Eden president. Irina has served for 9 years in the Eden Executive Committee, 3 years as the member, 3 years as the vice president, and crowned by another 3 years of her presidency. These years were a unique period in modernization of education in Europe. She has been one of the leading personalities of integration of Baltic professional community in European Union. Every president leaves its hand marks in one way or another on the development of association. Irina has assured a stable continuity in Eden, contributed to our enhanced reputation in Europe and beyond. The leadership style she had applied initiated new cooperation culture of activities in executive committee. With her nice personality, she has strengthened the Eden community atmosphere, which was acknowledged by the Ingeborg Bo Prize in 2019. And just let me say, I was very happy to be able to learn from her and from my dear friend Antonio in order to take the present position. So Irina, congratulations. Okay, I don't know if Secretariat has some slides or no, but I
well,
now...
Irina, the floor if she wants.
Okay, I don't, if I'm correct, Irina, would you be kind to say a few words now? Oh, she cannot use the microphone. Okay, or video. So
actually, she can if she tries.
Yes. Okay, sorry. Now I'm allowed to do that.
Okay.
So first of all, my dear colleagues, thank you very much. I'm really honored. I would like to say just very briefly, these awards and recognitions are very important for us individuals, but they say a lot when you reflect on these achievements, what value, what treasure we all received from being among Eden members, among Eden Fellows. My Eden Fellowship was recognized in 2010, 2010. And since then, there were so many developments, so many instances, so many new friends, newcomers, which actually now developed into a very, very tight, very valuable circle of friendship and professional collaboration. So thanks to Professor Alan Tate for establishing it. Thanks for this senior fellow recognition. And I'm very happy that when such unexpected challenges come onto the globe, we as fellows, as senior fellows, understand each other language. We have discourse, we have maybe disagreements, but we think about the same side effects, we think about the same pathways, and that's why we are strong together. Thank you very much. I'm very much honored, very much happy, and thank you, Sandra. It's a great pleasure for me.
Thank you, Irina. Let's move to our next Eden Senior Fellow Award. I'm very happy to announce that Professor Antonella Poce from University del Studi a Roma 3, Italy, is also awarded with the Eden Senior Fellow Award. Antonella was serving as a member and later chair of the steering committee of Eden Networks of Academics and Professionals. The NEP chair post is one of the important ones in Eden and the executive committee. Her inspired and systematic activities have resulted enhanced impact and visibility of NAP internationally. The Eden NAP Twitter chats attracted many hundred experts every week for professional discussion. Later, the NAP webinars have launched a tradition of regular exchange and experience. Exceptionally successful annual conference in Genoa, Italy is also linked to her academic networking achievements. And let me end in the end that during difficult times at the first part of this year, when we have experienced really high numbers of ill persons regarding to the COVID, Antonella was here with us shaping the Eden Initiative Education in Time of Pandemic, and was really, really put herself into it. So Antonella, congratulations.
Thank you. So it means that we are all weeping tonight instead of celebrating. Sorry, I moved too, because as you know, have been involved for many years in this association and in this family, actually. As you said before, this is a family, really, and you and Antonio, all of us, actually. Alan is, in my heart, he knows that. And the very first conference I attended and I participated in was in Paris in 2006. So I can say that I really grew up within the association, and I have been passionate about it, really. And so I thank you all. Antonio is there, he knows about that, but Alan and everyone knows about my involvement and my care about the association. So I really thank you all for this recognition that is really important for me, for a professional, from a professional point of view, of course, first of all, but especially from the human side of this issue, which I really care. So thank you so much, and we need to keep on going this way. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Antonella. Thank you. If I continue to read all these things, I'll ruin completely my makeup till the end of the end of it. Well, okay. Thank you, Antonella. Let's move to the third person who was awarded the Eden Senior Fellow. This is Professor Joseph Duarte from Universitat Oberta Catalunya and Eden Vice President for Research. Joseph has given great momentum to the strengthening the academic reputation, international recognition, and the enhanced quality of Eden publications. He was behind the introduction of PhD symposia, an important movement for young scholars and development of the academic and professional community. As the member of the Eden presidency, his experience and wisdom has often supported these strategic decisions. Dear Joseph, my dear colleague, my dear part of the team, congratulations to you.
Thank you very much, Sandra. It's an honor, it's a pleasure. I think it's difficult to add something more after the kind and nice words from Irina and Antonella. To me, I think I really appreciate this recognition, this award, because it came from colleagues, and this is very important, of course, because I'm very honored for this award, no? And also because that allowed me to give me the opportunity to continue learning with all of you, as I did during these last years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joseph. I don't remember that Irina cried so much as I'm crying now. Maybe this is emotion at the end of the day, but sorry. Okay, thank you. Congratulations to all of you again. And let's now move to the Eden Fellows Award. So the Fellow Award is an expression of appreciation of professional merit to Eden members who have demonstrated excellence in professional practice of open, distance, and e-learning and provided valued support to evolution and progress of Eden. We have 4 persons, so let me start with the first. Ulf Sandström, Swedish Association for Distance Education. Ulf is chair of Swedish Association for Distance Education, we call it SADE, which is a leading association in Sweden in the area of open online flexible education and distance learning, including new research, networking, and project creating activities. SADE members come from entire education sector, from K-12 to higher education and public education, business and the private sectors, and are also represented as well here. In 2017, Eden Conference was held in Jönköping, Sweden, where the SADE was co-organizer. The Swedish Association, with the leadership of Ulf Sandström, has been special strategic partner of Eden for many years in the Scandinavian region, supporting collaboration with these important countries, having a special professional culture in open distance and digital learning and the information society. So Ulf, congratulations. And I was really enjoying the conference in Jönköping in 2019 as well. So applause. Okay.
Or Ulf, if you want to say something.
Yeah.
Please do.
I'm sorry, I need to find him to give him the floor.
Okay.
Please, Professor Teixeira, you could help me with the name.
I don't think he's
I can't find him at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, I don't think he's present anymore.
Okay, then.
So let's
at this moment, so you can move on.
Let's move on. Okay, our second awardee is Maria Rosaria Re from University degli Studi Roma 3, Italy. She's scholar at the Department of Educational Sciences in Education, Culture and Communication with fields of interest in e-learning, online learning, science teaching, pedagogy assessment, and educational evaluation. She was carrying out research in interactive teaching and learning online with specific reference to MOOCs and cooperating with the Laboratory of Experimental Research and Center for Museum Studies. Winner of the Young Scholar Award at Eden 2018 annual conference, speaker at several Eden conferences, participant of PhD symposium, and author of the paper in the Best of Eden volume of the European Journal of Open Distance and E-Learning. So Maria Rosaria, congratulations to you. So would you like to say something?
Yes, thank you all. Thank you to the Eden Executive Committee for the recognition as Eden Fellow. I'm very honored to receive this award because the Eden community supports my career from the beginning of my research activities. A big thanks to my mentor, Professor Antonella Poce, and to the Center for Museum Studies of Roma Tre University. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you, Maria Rosaria, and congratulations again. Okay, our next awardee is James Branton from Dublin City University. Dr. Branton has PhD in social organizational psychology from Dublin City University. He is also chair of Dublin City University BA in Humanities program at the National Institute for Digital Learning and a member of Digital Learning Research Network. His research specialists include social and organizational psychology, identity studies, qualitative methodologies. He is chartered psychologist with Psychological Society of Ireland and the British Psychological Society. At Eden conferences, he has delivered several valuable contributions, among others noted as a speaker of the Assessment Strategy Managing and Supporting Assessment Designers lecture in the Garden of Learning of Eden. So James, congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be awarded the title of Eden Scholar by this professional community. Eden as a network and as an organizer of online and physical events, it's been part of my professional life for the last 10 years since I started working in online and distance learning in DCU. And I'm especially pleased for this that this is happening at an Eden research workshop, because those have been a very enjoyable feature, a very useful feature of my professional life over that period. You know, the first one I went to, I was shocked to see it was back in 2012 in Leuven, and that doesn't seem like that long ago. But you know, I'm honored to receive the award, and it's great to be pulled closer into this community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, James. Okay, and last one to present today is Professor Covadonga Rodrigo from UNED, Spain. Professor Rodrigo works in the Department of Computer Languages and Systems at the UNED and is Director of Digital Inclusion Laboratory, co-director of Innovative User Interaction to Accessible Digital Objects Program. She was Vice Rector for Technology at UNED and Deputy Vice Rector of Technologies in Associated Centers. In Eden, besides her papers at conference, she hosted an Eden chat on development of inclusive museums through innovative technologies. So Professor Rodrigo, congratulations.
Okay, I would like to thank you all, and especially to the Eden Executive Committee for this recognition. For me, it's been nearly 20 years by now that I am on distance education, and this is a very, very special recognition. And you know that I really know some of you very well. We've been working together. So for me, it's a very special day, you know, just to make some more visibility to our collaboration. So I'm very, very pleased to join this big family, this network, and hopefully I will contribute my bit to the scientific advancements of the field that we can make together. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And just to mention that at Eden Annual Conference in Timișoara, we have awarded RW11 for the Eden Fellow as well. So this is the 5 awardees we have been given for Eden Fellow this year. So thank you all. Now I'm giving the floor to Antonio for some nice music to make us more informal and happy at the end of the day. So Antonio, please.
Well, Sandra, thank you. Well, let me also congratulate once again the colleagues that were awarded: Irene, Antonella, Josep, Maria Rosaria, Ulf, James, and of course Covadonga, and of course Radu. Radu is not here, but it is in our hearts as well. Well, he may be actually within the conference participants, as we know. Much deserved recognitions, and I can, well, speak from the heart because I've worked with almost all of them and know it quite well. So getting to the challenge that actually Sandra has put me. and also allowing some time for Sandra to cry a little bit more. We'll go now to a piece of music that has a special history. It's not just some music, it has a special meaning. In the Portuguese tradition of fado, there are some variants. And one of the second most famous one, which actually is a world intangible heritage, is the fado from Coimbra, or the Coimbra Song, as it's also called. Actually, this fado is sung traditionally by the students from the University of Coimbra, and then by other universities as well, but it started in Coimbra. And most of the songs have also lyrics, so they're instrumental, but also have lyrics to it. But they can be played basically as an instrumental song. And in our case, we have selected a number of songs, well, basically two for this ceremony, just to give you a glimpse of this jam that in which you can share, because it's not that usual for colleagues from abroad to actually have the experience of listening to the fado from Coimbra. There is also a catch on this, is that the player is no regular ordinary player as well. So it's a colleague from us, it's from a colleague from the Open University of Portugal, Lionel Morgado, who actually has recorded a number of songs, and we're now going to play it for your pleasure. I'm going to ask the colleagues to play the video, please. You can also find it on YouTube.
Yes. Professor, I couldn't find three. Which ones are the ones that you want me to play?
Well, I mean, you can play the three then.
Okay, then let's do it. So I hope you can already see the first one.
Yeah.
1 moment, I have to check one thing.
Actually, it's this video that you should play. This
Okay,
video.
then let's go on. So I have to click like this, and I'm going to start.
I'd like to present some themes for the admin workshop. The first one, by Carlos Paredes, it's called Verdes Anos, which means green ears or unripe ears. Carlos Paredes was born in the Coimbra heritage, but soon moved to Lisbon, and so blended both environments and came out with his own personal style, which, although so much Coimbra in spirit, is unmistakably his own, and the closest it got ever since from what would be called a national style of Portuguese guitar. To give you a sample of what is the more traditional Coimbra style, I'll now play an instrumental piece in D minor by Flavio Rodrigues, a former barber in Coimbra.
Marie-Jean, you can stop sharing.
Absolutely beautiful. So
Okay.
my makeup is gone now, so sorry.
Well, just a brief note on this. So it's just a glimpse of what it can be shown. Actually, the Coimbra tradition organizes serenades, so night-long exhibitions of this kind of music. Usually they are sung only by men because it's the old tradition, but I mean, it will change, I'm sure, eventually. But also, let me also give you a personal note on the colleague, the player. Actually, Leonel Morgado is an expert on virtual and augmented reality, and he's one of the European experts on the topic. So you can see that some of us are multi-gifted and multi-talented. Well, now we'll move to the final part of the session. So the final part that, Irene is actually sharing a glass of something, but she's not telling us what it is. So we're moving to the last part, and I'll ask Alan, our dear colleague Alan Tate, and also Inês, if they can share, a kind of first impressions on, expectations that they have on the discussions, and so the trends of research that will be shown at this research workshop. As you already know, Alan and Inês have very kindly accepted to play the role of rapporteurs, so they will be actually collecting the impressions of this virtual experience, collective experience, and will be delivering it at the final moment of the closing session. Ellen, would you like to start, please?
Thank you very much. Am I coming through okay, Antonio? You can hear me?
Yes, perfectly, yes.
Thank you very much. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, as Antonio has given us the appropriate greeting for everybody. It's great to be with all my colleagues, and I think I can say friends also at this welcome ceremony for Lisbon Research Workshop 2020. I think of this conference as a journey. I don't think I've ever done a virtual conference before, so this may be a challenging journey, but as Lisbon is a city of navigators, I think I will be in good hands to get through this journey successfully. First of all, I want to say how wonderful it is that this conference is happening, how important it is at this time of COVID across the whole of Europe, and of course I'm including the UK in Europe, how important it is at this time of crisis that researchers and practitioners continue their community and continue their work. And I think it's a tremendous compliment to Antonio and his team at the Open University of Portugal and to the Eden Secretariat. Many of the people in the teams, of course, are invisible, but they must be thanked for the work they have done. It's tremendously important that this conference takes place. And I'm looking forward to working with Ines from UNED in our rapporteur roles, which we share. And Ines will speak for herself in just a second. So then, Antonio has asked me to give a few words of my own preliminary thoughts. And the topic is the new challenges for research in the human experience of learning with technology. Research remains, and indeed its importance is enhanced. It remains important and its importance is enhanced. How inadequate would it be if we only dealt with this by common sense? If we didn't rely on expertise? I think we've seen the dangers of populism, which attacks expertise and attacks modernization. So research is important. And of course, as the crisis has pushed so many higher education institutions and indeed schools into working in online and blended modes, the relevance of our research is much wider than just the community of open distance, flexible learning. So research is centrally important to the educational world. It allows us to test the claims of the technology businesses. And importantly, it allows us to stay in touch with learner perspectives. So if we re-emphasize the importance of research into our field of work, what is new? What sort of research should we be investing in? Well, the themes on the conference website, I would refer you back to, because they are the major themes for our period now. And of course, what is new is not perhaps what we think. There's nothing new about technology supporting learning. We've only got to think of the book as a technology in Europe, maybe 500 years ago, beginning to come into importance. It was a technology, it had problems of access, it had problems of affordability. So there's nothing new about technology supporting learning. But there are things which are new in my perspective. And I'll just set up one or two of them by way of introduction. I think the scale of technology reach is radically new. It's now 30 years that technology, digital technology, has been reshaping our society, reshaping our economy, reshaping our private lives, reshaping our media, reshaping our health systems, and not least, reshaping our education systems. And one of the things that is very important, challenging, is the way that the reach of technology has come with the commoditization of data, reach into our everyday behaviors. These data being collected, analyzed, and of course sold and resold. And that is important in our educational world as it is in the world of commerce too. And this intrusion into our private lives has major implications for the balance of power between the state and the individual, the power of capital, and our witting and unwitting cooperation as individuals. And you'll remember that book by Shoshana Zuboff, perhaps a year old now, the book The Age of Surveillance Capitalism, which I think sets a very good framework for that. And this is part of our world, and we've seen recent resistance from the ethical perspective to learning analytics and indeed to online proctoring, seen once as the easy solution to the question of online exams, now much more challenging. The second thing I'd like to promote as an important priority is the move from notions of community, pre-digital community, to the risks of a kind of etiolated individualism. Networks of community that are not local, but national or international, but shallow rather than deep. Are we moving into a phase of surfing relationships as well as surfing the web? And what does that mean in our educational world as well as in our personal and social worlds? Another priority remains a priority, still important. Who is included and who is excluded? A major topic for research. You might be surprised to know that when campus universities closed in the UK, back in March, we discovered that 16% of university students didn't have a laptop and found it very difficult to engage with the online support that was being offered by campuses. So we simply cannot assume that everybody is included in this digital revolution for education. And we need research to remind policymakers and institutional leaders how patterns of exclusion are made and remade by the digital revolution, as of course they were made by the book. I'd also like to promote the priority of change in learning and pedagogy with the widespread availability of resources, not just open education resources, but resources more generally. I think there is evidence that pedagogy is changing, but must change further. But how does it change? How do our students and how do our professors manage that change? What evidence do we have of changing pedagogic practices? And I think we need to move from the rhetoric of OERs and need to research open education practice. This seems to me to be a major priority. And the last priority I'd mention, which I'm looking forward to, is not a priority that I welcome, but nonetheless, I think it's a priority we have to engage with. And that is the threat to academic integrity through the sale of academic assessed work, personation in projects and theses, and plagiarism. Certainly in the UK, we have major problems. The data is already showing that these problems are increasing over the last year with online examinations. I don't know if that is true more widely in Europe, but I think we need research to tell us. The scale of the digital revolution has accelerated the scale of this problem and the commoditization of the problem. So I look forward to hearing the discussion of these research priorities and others. I look forward also to the Oxford debate, if Antonia will allow me to promote that, tomorrow evening, where we debate the topic of the COVID pandemic will not make long-term change to teaching on campus, a very good polemical topic, which is represented by Professor Cristina Costa of the University of Durham and Dr. Mar Perez San Agustin of Paul Sabatier University in Toulouse. So I hope you will join us for that enjoyable as well as challenging debate tomorrow evening. So let me hand back to Antonio and to hear Ines, I hope, also.
Thank you, Alan. Ines, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Antonio, and all the organizers of the conference. And first, congratulations to all the new Eden Fellows. I think it was very emotive, especially for Sandra. She was touched. And I didn't want to talk much about, to anticipate much about topics of the conference, because if you see the program, it's very interesting, really, and I'm looking forward also to the Oxford debate and the keynotes and all the panel sessions, the round table and everything. But I wanted to more focus on two of the words in the conference itself, on the research that also Alan mentioned, and I think it's very relevant always to have a proper research, but currently I think it's very relevant, and well, I can anticipate maybe that we will have some studies about the impact of the pandemic on all our current practices. But I think we are still so within or inside the pandemic crisis yet that we will need more perspective. So we all have the same question: what will remain after this? And this issue was also raised this morning in the Eden NAP research, Eden NAP workshop this morning, which was really nice, and I think it was a very good start for the discussions. And I want to thank Orna Farrell and Francesca Menduni for leading the workshop. And the second aspect I wanted to highlight from the conference, even if it was organized before the pandemic crisis, is the human aspect. And I think all the human and social and ethical aspects of open and distance education are very relevant, and specifically in this moment, it's what we needed. Yeah, the previous conference was about the technical aspect, more artificial intelligence and this type of things, and this was about the human aspects. And I think it will be present at the conference as a topic to some research about social and qualitative aspects of distance education. but also I expect it as something present at the conference itself, like the human aspect of all of us. And this session was a very good example of that. It was really, we were all on it. We are at this time. I feel personally that my life is mostly virtual. I spend a lot of time in the screen with the students, with colleagues, with meetings, even with my family that I cannot go to see them as often as I would like. But this type of session with all the emotions happening in the Eden Fellow recognition, for instance, in the music, and I expect this climate during the conference, also in the dialogues, the discussions, like to have a good climate, to be present, all of us as humans, as researchers, or practitioners, and with this great opportunity that the Eden events are always for sharing, for learning, and for networking. And it's a pleasure for me also to collaborate with Alan in this. And I expect to see you all on Friday at the closing ceremony, where we will share our impressions after this very intensive 2.5 days. Thank you.
Thank you, Ines. Just a brief overview. So this is what we're talking about. A very intense program. Let me remind you for tomorrow, the keynote sessions at the starting with Tony Bates and Alan Elsper and Antonio Nova, the Oxford debate that has already been announced by Alan, the roundtable that Ines will be actually leading on Friday, and the closing keynote as well. 51 full papers, 15 full posters, 7 workshops, 14 PhD presentations. Well, I hope that you'll enjoy the experience, but you have to participate as well. You can vote for the best poster award, or the best research in progress award. You can and should participate in the activities on social media. And this is basically what we're actually installing for you. And just to finalize, a word of thank you to all the speakers today, by Carla and Sandra, but also by Alan and Ines, and all the recipients of the fellow awards, so the new fellows, and to Lionel as well. And to finalize, well, I'm going to keep my promise. This is a glass of port wine to all of you. I hope that you have yours as well and can keep me company as well. Well, to you. I think it's here in Lisbon. It's I mean, it's late enough to drink. Well, thank you very much. Thank you all, and enjoy the conference. And see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
See you tomorrow. Bye.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Maria João?